Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. I got another how-to video here. This is really for beginners to be able to stake and unstake the resources within Wax. As many of you know, and the main appeal for the Wax blockchain is there are no gas fees, but along with that, there's a bit of a challenge that you need to stake your resources and make sure that you have enough CPU, net, and RAM in order to do the functions that you want to do. It's a careful balance, especially as you're new to the game, to figure out what is right for you, but it can be pretty simple also. Um, if you're new to the game, then you've probably gotten that error message. You need CPU. Basically, you're out of RAM. So the question is how to stake and get the RAM and the CPU that you need in order to really play the games that you want to try out or that you want to play and you want to jump into. So what I want to do in this video is walk you through how to stake and unstake Wax in wax.blocks, which is the main blockchain application, or I guess interface is probably the best word, the main interface for you to work through. Um, so in order to get to Wax, either your Wax wallet, which is wallet.wax.io, or Wax blocks, make sure you're very, very careful. This is tip number one. Make sure you're careful when you pulling these up on Google because there is known scams in fact, I'm going to go to Wax wallet. If I could spell, that is not how you spell wallet. If you go to Wax wallet, you will notice they've actually gotten rid of them, at least in my search. If you go Wax wallet, there is occasionally at the top here, there are ads. They are known scams. They will steal all your NFTs and all your Wax if you click on them. So be very, very careful that it doesn't say ads by it, and make sure that you're very careful that you're going to wallet.wax.io if you want to check out your wallet. But if you want to go to blocks, it is spelled KS, not CKS. And then you go to wax.blocks.io. So be very careful that you're not clicking on ads. I'm sorry I'm stressing this, but we've had many people get scammed doing that. It looks like Google's doing a better job at blocking it now, but it could pop up. If you want to go ahead and stake it on stake, you go to wax.blocks, bloks.io. I'll have the two links down in the description, both for the wallet and the blocks. You come here, this is the first screen you're going to see. Up on the top left, you're going to go ahead and log in. I've already been logged in. It's going to ask you to add an account. You just type in your Wax wallet ID. Then it's going to ask you to verify. Make sure that you see your account up here. Once you see that, you go ahead and click on wallet, and this is going to show your resources. You're going to see I'm at 96% RAM, CPU is 13% and 1%. You'll see my CPU is, I have a lot of Wax and CPU right now because I also use that as quote unquote a savings account. But just so you're aware, network, I don't have much in there. In fact, I have 8 Wax in there, which is probably way too much, but I just have it in there in case it occasionally spikes. CPU and RAM you're going to use the most. CPU is used when you're actually playing the game. It's used for the processes, and every time you click and you get that little authentication, that's using your CPU. RAM is usually used some parts in the game, but mostly used when you're selling and buying NFTs. That's when you'll do a lot of the RAM. You'll see my RAM's at 96, but it's because I'm selling some items, so it's holding on to that RAM. The main issue that you're going to run into is CPU challenges. So in order to stake CPU, on the side here you see stake, um, CPU, and net. You're going to go to that, and you're going to see you're going to have multiple tabs here. You're going to have stake, you're going to have unstake, and you're going to have refund. First thing is when you're staking, this is when you need higher resources in order to play a game. You go here and you go ahead and click on the CPU, and I'm just going to add 1 wax. You can also do percentages, and the percentages comes from your balance, which is right here. That's how many wax that I have available that's liquid right now. So if I want to go ahead and use 50% of that and put in the CPU, I can click on that, or I can type in an exact number, which I'm only going to do 1 just for an example's point of view. Once you have that in there, go ahead and you're going to see stake, 1 wax to CPU and 0 wax to net. And then your address. Make sure your address is showing here. Go ahead and click on that. It's going to ask you to authenticate, and then you're going to see it goes up by 1, and it did go up by 1 for me. Um, Now that you have that in there, you see a successful transaction down at the bottom here, and you're good to go. You can do that with net also. RAM is a little bit different because with CPU and network, you're staking. Basically, what you put in there, you're earning benefits from, which I'll do a whole other video on how you can get staking rewards. But for RAM, it's a little bit different because you're actually buying RAM and then you're going to sell RAM when you want to get rid of it. So you go to buy and sell RAM, make sure that your address is here. You can buy it in bytes or with wax. I usually do wax. And I'm just going to buy 1 wax of RAM, which gives me 1.5 bytes. Again, you're going to see here, buy 1 wax of RAM, and then you hit submit. It's going to ask you to authenticate, and you are good to go. It's going to give you that success down here. And you saw I boosted up. I was at 96%. Now I'm at 93%. You don't need a ton of wax in RAM. uh, I have 30 and it does most of what I do. If I was selling a lot of NFTs, if you're a big flipper or you like to sell a lot, you're gonna have higher RAM. I'm okay with 30. I could probably, if I didn't sell as many, I could get less than that. CPU is gonna be your big hurdle. All right, let's go over here and let's actually unstake. In order to unstake, it takes 3 days to process. To go through the process, you go to stake CPU and net. You go to the unstake tab. Make sure you select your wallet. It's going to show you what you currently have staked, what you have network, and what you're going to do is you're going to type in how much you want to unstake. You can only unstake CPU and network that's not currently being used. So I cannot pull out the full amount for mine. I can't pull out the 2,344 wax that I have in here. I can only pull out a portion of that. So for example purposes, I'm going to just pull out 1 wax. You can do the same with network. In fact, I'm not using a lot of network, so let's go ahead and pull 1 wax out of there too. And then you'll see the same button comes up. It explains exactly what you're doing, and you go ahead and hit process. Hit approve, gives you success, and now from the 3 days from the time I press that button, if I go over to refund, you'll see I have nothing there yet. Let's go ahead and refresh. And 3 days from now, every time you refresh, this a warning, you gotta log in again. Um, 3 days from now, you'll see that it now shows up. You had to refresh in order to show. 3 days from now, I'll be able to click this button that says refund. It shows a timer that goes every time you click on something and come back. That timer is going to be different. And after 3 days, again, you'll be able to actually redeem that. So I can't access it. Those 2 wax, the one I put in or one I removed from CPU, one I removed from network, are kind of in limbo right now. But I'll be able to grab those again in 3 days from the time I press that button. I hope this helps. RAM is going to be the exact same way. You go over to buy and sell RAM. You click on sell. This is actually going to be a lot faster. It's been a while since I did it, so we're going to go ahead and remove. It's in bytes. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I can convert. So you'll see here, I'm selling in bytes. So that's one thing that you need to keep an eye on in order to sell what I want. Right now I have, yeah, you just got to do conversion. It's a little bit of a pain, but you can go through that. And we'll just do for purposes of this video, 20 bytes I'm going to sell of RAM. So go ahead and sell 20, click on sell, and this is going to say my transaction successful. It sold it right away. This you do not have to wait the 3 days for. It's because you're buying and selling. It is pretty quick. If you're staking and unstaking, then it goes through the full 3-day process. I hope this helps. There's other ways that you can buy and sell or unstake and stake wax. This is the main way, and this is the way that I do it because it's right on the blockchain. It's super simple. You just have to go out and make sure that you're going to the right site. Remember, again, on Google, do not click on any of the ads. Use the links I have down below, or make sure that you're using the right ones. Wax.blocks, no.io. You'll see it right up here at the top, and you'll also see it in the description down below. Hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope this video is helpful, and thank you for your time. Bye.